Projekt Guru.
Всем привет! С вами Zak Novak на радиостанции Novorossia Rocks. Welcome to Novorossia Rocks radio station. This is Zak Novak, your American from downtown Donetsk. The program is called Projekt Guru, and Guru is in the house as always. Andre, my engineer. Let's get right to it. War crimes. Kiev Nazi Junta once again bombed civilian targets, 64 shells of 82 and 120s. Kiev forces fired 64 shells at the northern and western areas of Donetsk, the suburbs of Yasinovata and Sahanka village in the south of the Donetsk People's Republic overnight. From 10 o'clock last night to 2 o'clock in the morning, the Nazi Kiev forces shelled the villages of Mineralnoye, Spartak, Sahanka, and also the DPR positions near the airport and the Yasinovatskaya roadblock. A total of 29 shells of 82mm and 35 shells of 120, again that's 120 calibers, were fired. The shellings were carried out from positions in the area of Butovskaya coal mine and the settlements of Avdiivka, Opotnoye, and Shirokino, Krasnogorovka, and Novomihailovka. Besides mortars, the Nazi forces used armored personnel carriers, large caliber machine guns, grenade launchers, and small arms. The participants of the contact group unsettling the crisis in Donbass region agreed to observe the silence regime starting from midnight on April 30th. However, the freedom fighters and fighting against the Kiev Junta forces continue blaming each other, but we all know this is war crimes by the Poroshenko regime. Guru, listen to this. Britain to send in more troops to Libya despite denying any plans for ground war. New reports out of Britain suggest the nation is preparing to send more ground troops into Libya this week, with estimations that the latest group will be about 50 troops. Britain has been slowly adding troops to Libya in recent months despite publicly denying any plans for a ground war in the country. All told, Britain is planning to deploy around 1,000 ground troops in Libya to take part in a Libya-led invasion. Officials say this will be a training force, though they have also conceded that only a fraction would be trainers. Earlier this month, if you remember, some British and Italian special forces were ambushed by ISIS inside Libya, with a number of Italian troops killed or wounded in the incident. Few official details have been offered, however, as the deployment is largely still secret. British warplanes are said to have carried out communications interference over the major ISIS city in Libya, the city of Sirte. Officials said ISIS was very angry at this move. Andre, listen to this. U.S.-backed terrorist ISIS attack hospital and killed 35 Syrian soldiers. A Saturday morning offensive by ISIS, backed by the Obama regime. Troops left the group in control of an important hospital in the contested eastern city of Deir ez-Zor, an offensive which left at least 35 Syrian troops killed. ISIS forces also captured a number of medical personnel. The military has reportedly recovered the hospital since then, with the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reporting another 24 ISIS fighters killed in the counter-offensive at Assad Hospital. It does not appear that the hostage medical workers were recovered. The hospital itself does not appear to have been the primary point of the ISIS push, which also saw them take a police checkpoint, a fire station, and some university dorms. The site is on the main supply route between the Syrian army base in the city and the airport. Deir ez-Zor has been contested for years, with ISIS holding much of the city but never quite able to expel the military from its remaining bases there. As one of the few eastern cities in Syria with significant military presence, it is seen as a key staging area for government forces against the terrorist group ISIS, which is backed by the Obama regime. A message to all the traitors. We are a proud state. We are Republika Srpska, according to President Dodik. Ne može nam niko ništa. Viva Dodik, viva Republika Srpska. Republic Srpska is a state, and it is capable of defending itself by democratic means. Republic Srpska President Milorad Dodik said in Banja Luka on Saturday a pro-government rally titled "With Our Hearts for Srpska, Stop the Treason." Today we are defending the Republic of Srpska from internal treason, and treason is when you go to Sarajevo to nod approvingly, when you dare not to defend Republic Srpska in Sarajevo, or dare not to say that you love Serbia. The Serbs have learned that freedom equals a state, and that there is no freedom without a state. The Republic Srpska must be respected. It has a life of its own. Dodik said, noting that the Republic Srpska, the Serb entity in Bosnia and Herzegovina, is not a factor of disturbance and that it should not be perceived as a threat to others. Commentating on the simultaneous opposition gathering held nearby, Dodik said that the Republic Srpska has shown that two rallies conveying differing political messages can be held on the same day within a kilometer of each other without clashes or harm done to anyone. The opposition rally, titled "Let Us Free Srpska," ended peacefully after Serbian Democratic Party leader Mladen Bošić read out 6 demands that included calling early presidential and parliamentary elections, forming an interim government, and shedding light on politically motivated assassinations and corruption scandals, which is all lies, by the way. Republic Srpska and Bosnia-Herzegovina police had stepped up security in Banja Luka amid reports that extremist groups and individuals could instigate riots. Republic Srpska Interior Minister Dragan Lukac said that police denied entry to 150 people from neighboring Serbia who were intent on causing riots. Viva Dodik, viva Republic Srpska. Warnings over North European buildup, Russia and the U.S. on the brink of war. U.S. and Russian officials traded warnings once again today over the growing number of military assets deployed in Northern Europe, with each insisting the other bore full responsibility for the growing tensions in the area. Russian President Vladimir Putin centered his complaints both on the U.S. buildup in Poland and in the U.S. missile defense base in Romania, saying that the Americans are attempting to start a new arms race by putting strategic weapons along their frontier. Putin insisted the attempt to start a new arms race would fail, but did say that Russia is prepared. We are prepared to react to neutralize the missile defense system, likely to mean the deployment of additional missiles into the enclave of Kaliningrad bordering Poland. U.S. officials, for their part, signed a joint statement with Denmark, Iceland, Finland, Sweden, and Norway, slamming Russian aggression in the region, centering around their holding of military drills inside Russian territory close to the frontier. Recent reports have indicated that the Pentagon is increasingly split on the alarmist rhetoric targeting Russia, with many saying the army is driving the allegations with an eye toward getting more of the budget, with claims of unrealistic Russian military capabilities. Hey everyone listening, it's really important, really hot what's going down in Latin America, South America. The coup that took place to our beloved Dilma in Brazil, and now Obama trying the coup attempt in Venezuela. Venezuelan President Maduro declares state of emergency. Obama regime planning a coup. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro declared a 60-day state of emergency on Friday due to what he called plots from within the OPEC country and the United States to topple his leftist government. Maduro did not provide details of the measure. A previous state of emergency implemented in states near the Colombian border last year suspended constitutional guarantees in those areas except for guarantees relating to human rights. Earlier on Friday, U.S. intelligence officials told reporters they were increasingly worried about the potential for an economic political meltdown in Venezuela and predicted Maduro was not likely to complete his term. Venezuela's opposition is seeking to recall the unpopular leader amid a worsening crisis that includes food and medicine shortages, frequent power cuts, sporadic looting, and galloping inflation, but this according to the opposition. But the former union leader and bus driver has vowed to stick out his term and accuses the United States of fomenting an undercover coup against him. He pointed to this week's impeachment of fellow leftist Dilma Rousseff in Brazil as a sign that he is next. Washington is activating measures at the request of Venezuela's fascist right, who were emboldened by the coup in Brazil, Maduro said during a Friday night broadcast on state television. Washington has had an acrimonious relationship with Caracas for years, especially following U.S. support for a short-lived 2002 coup against late leader, our hero, Hugo Chavez. Venezuela's ruling Socialist Party has long been a strong ally of Rousseff's Workers' Party, however, and her departure adds to Maduro's isolation in Latin America. Flanked by his ministers and a statue of Chavez, Maduro signed a state of emergency and extend a state of economic emergency to protect the country from foreign and domestic threats without providing details. Venezuela's opposition, which scoffs at Maduro's accusation of coup-mongering, quickly condemned the measure. The European Union behaving like Nazi Hitler by trying to create a super state. Hey folks, listen to this. Former London Mayor Boris Johnson claims the European Union was behaving like German Nazi dictator Adolf Hitler by trying to create a superstate, he said in a Sunday newspaper interview. Johnson is one of the leading figures campaigning for Britain to leave the EU in a June 23rd referendum. His controversial comments come 6 weeks ahead of the vote and with opinion polls suggesting that the vote is too close to call. He said the last 2,000 years of European history had featured repeated efforts to bring the continent together under a single government, emulating the Roman Empire. Napoleon, Hitler, various people tried this out, and it ends tragically. The EU is an attempt to do this by different methods, Johnson said, the Sunday Telegraph. But fundamentally, what is lacking is the internal problem, which is that there is no underlying loyalty to the idea of Europe. There is no single authority that anybody respects or understands. That is causing this massive democratic void. Johnson is a leading member of the ruling Conservative Party of Prime Minister David Cameron, who is leading the campaign to keep Britain in the EU. The Leave campaign argues that Britain outside the EU will be stronger, seeing Brussels institutions as bloated and believing that the Houses of Parliament in London should have absolute sovereignty. The Remain and Leave camps are currently tied at 50% each, according to what the UK Thinks website average of the last 6 opinion polls. A separate poll for Sunday's newspaper suggested that Johnson is more trusted than Cameron by the public to tell the truth about Europe. Hey Guru, check this out. An unusual gift, a pig's head found at Angela Merkel's office with disturbing text. The unusual gift was placed at the constituency office in the town of Stralsund. According to reports, the police found the animal's head on Saturday morning. Law enforcement officers have not disclosed the content of the inscriptions, but pointed out that the insulting text was personally addressed to Angela Merkel. A recent INSA survey has shown that German voters have become tired of Angela Merkel over the last 11 years and don't want her to become the head of the government in 2017. According to the survey, about 2/3 of Germans, namely 64%, oppose the political strategy of the federal chancellor and don't want her CDU party to win the federal elections next year. Merkel's popularity has decreased in the context of the current migration crisis and her open-door policy toward refugees. As a result, more than 1 million refugees arrived in Germany from African countries and the Middle East, raising security concerns among the country's residents. U.S., Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar supplying terrorist groups with weapons and logistics. Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar have been supplying terrorists with weapons and food, supporting the attack on the Syrian village of Khan Tuman in Aleppo province. This was stated by Iranian Secretary of Expediency Council and former commander of the Corps Revolutionary Guards, elite units of the armed forces. Terrorist groups have received arms, ammunition, money, and food delivered from the southern Turkey and through its port of Iskenderun, quoted him the Kaya newspaper. Saudi Arabia and Qatar have also provided assistance to the terrorists by sea. In addition, according to Rizal, several generals from the U.S., listen to this, Guru, several generals, officers from the U.S., Saudi Arabia, and Turkey specialized in specific military operations recently joined the terrorists and led their actions in Khan Tuman. According to Rizal, such terrorist groups, which are all banned in Russia, by the way, as Jas al-Islam, Ahrar al-Sham, support groups Jabhat al-Nusra and ISIS in the battle for Aleppo. Meanwhile, on May 11th, U.S., Britain, France, and Ukraine, listen to this, guys. Meanwhile, May 11th, U.S., Britain, France, and Ukraine, fascist Ukraine, blocked the Russian proposal in the UN Security Council for adding Jas al-Islam and Ahrar al-Sham into the list of terrorist organizations and their exclusion from the peace process in Syria. Hey, really tragic for our soccer fans out there. Real Madrid fan club Cafe attacked by terrorist ISIS, 16 dead, over 20 wounded in Iraq. A group of ISIS fighters that's backed by the Obama regime, armed with AK-47s today, attacked the Al Furat Cafe in the Iraqi city of Balad, just north of Baghdad, killing at least 16 people and wounding over 20 others. The cafe was the headquarters of Iraq's Real Madrid fan club. This isn't the first time ISIS has attacked fans and players of soccer, and indications are that the cafe was explicitly attacked because of its connection to the Western soccer team, with one official noting of ISIS, they don't like football. Attacks on sporting events have been common for Islamist factions across the region, with many having the perception perception that sports fans are less devout to their religion because of their backing for a sports team. While most commonly targeted at soccer, the most popular sport in much of the region, in Pakistan, this has seen Islamic groups attacking cricket players and fans. Real Madrid expressed sadness at the loss of life and vowed to show solidarity with the Iraqis killed in the attack, announcing they will wear black armbands during a Saturday match against Deportivo de la Coruna in mourning over the incident. Hey everybody, that ends our program. As I stress always, stay safe out there, be on alert. But before we go, this is a special song for that special someone who really I care for very much. This is for you, Marina.